Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach James here from Orange Theory Gresham in Oregon, here to bring you December 4th's Power and Endurance Focus. Drop it like a squat. Fun fact, this is one of the highest rated specialty templates we had this last year. So to go right into our 3G setup, first, treadmills have 3 blocks to get over today. First one's gonna set us up with a 1 minute all out straight from the gate into a 30-second recovery. Now we have some good news moving forward. Our all out time is gonna decrease by 15 seconds moving ahead, but those recoveries are always gonna sit at 30 seconds. So that being said, it's gonna be faster turnarounds. We already know that. The communication here is to try to match or beat our intensities as we progress. Now, we do have a unique setup in the block as well. 4 total all outs, doing the math real quick for you, lands us at a 15-second all out interval at the very end. This is a unique opportunity. It's gonna be some fast communication towards the end of the block. So that being said, I'd encourage you increase power walkers inclines with about 10 seconds to spare before you launch them. That way they have time to get up. Likewise, runners and joggers, those few seconds leading up to your 3, 2, 1, that 2 above base or greater, and go. It's gonna be fast, probably their most aggressive one of the block. They'll have a nice minute and a half to recover to kind of break things up. Block number 2 is gonna be surges. This is another fun feature we had here in the template. You're gonna set your treadmills up for a 3-minute push. Now, every 30 seconds, we're looking for a 15-second surge, which is just a light increase in intensity, kind of rounding out the corner, if you will, in a race before settling back into the push. So making sure that they get uncomfortable, lightly aggressive enough that they can return to their initial push speeds, but with enough room to also grow in that intensity for those 15 seconds around the corner. Now, block number 3 is gonna be a complete repeat of our first block, which is nice setup, those 4 all outs, another opportunity for everybody to match or beat those first intensities from the top of their day. Moving into the rowers next, 3 blocks as well. Block number 1 is gonna start with a dumbbell exercise, followed by a 100-meter base row. That being said, reps start at 6 as they rinse and repeat those efforts for time. Reps will grow by 2, getting as high up that ladder as possible. Now, block number 2 on the rowers, what's a nice feature is gonna be timed up with the tread, so they're also gonna have that 30-second push followed by the 15-second surge. As much as you might be tempted to coach watts for this block, it's actually gonna be strokes per minute. So keep that in mind. About 24 to 26 is where they want to establish that push, and then increasing their strokes per minute, maybe by 1 or 2 or more during those 15 seconds. Again, so long as they can maintain and bring it right back to that 24, 26 range across that 3 minutes. Last block is gonna set up similar to the first as well. The dumbbell exercise will switch, but they still get that 100 meters in base before they increase the reps again by 2, starting at 6 and climbing from there. On the weight floor side, a lot of attention to detail. Everything's gonna be under time today in rounds. So within that 4 minutes, the timeline's gonna kind of match what the treads are doing, in that they'll have a minute to complete an alternating step out squat, getting as many reps as they can. Within a 30-second time period thereafter, they'll have a rep and recover. Squat, jump to wide elbow for 10 reps. The faster they finish, the more time they'll have to recover, and then they move into round 2. That initial exercise changes, but the rep and recover will always be 10 at that squat wide elbow. So there's a total of 4 exercises within the block. They alternate within those rounds. That's gonna mirror block number 3 to kind of jump ahead as well, just to get that footnote. They'll have 2 chances, kind of bookend on their time on the weight floor. In the middle, their endurance block number 2 is gonna be a little unique setup. There's a coach's choice feature. You can set up any squat variation you'd like for 10 reps. That'll be coupled with a bicycle crunch for 16. So that being said, feel free to choose whatever's from the exercise library, whatever your favorite squat variation is, whether that's the same for all groups, or maybe you like to switch up that exercise for each group. Everyone gets a little bit of something different. That is completely up to you. Now, that encompasses the 3G. The 2G is a very similar setup. Of course, they just get more time at their stations. On the tread side, they get a total of 3 blocks with those all-out sequences and 2 blocks with the surges lined up. So again, always giving that chance to match or beat and increase intensities on all outs, and then maintaining that 3-minute mental push with those 15-second surges in between and pulling back and so on. On the weight floor side, they're gonna see that same setup with the rounds before they go to the row blocks. That's where those get introduced. The goblet squat dumbbell to that base row, still increasing 2 reps at a time. Block number 2, technically on the weight floor, is gonna be that member choice block. So again, squat variation by your 16 bicycle crunches, another exercise to row, and then finally the last block on the weight floor is gonna be that repeat from the top of the day within those round exercises. Keep the energy high, get your playlist lined up, something that's going to be hard hitting, and keep treadmills engaged. For sure, they're going to need that energy from the music and from you giving them their 3-2-1s and asking for just a little bit more where they can squeeze it out. That being said, I hope you have a fun time coaching it. As always, try to take the class. I know I am. It's going to be a great week to encourage members to remember what they did in the past and maybe even do a little bit more if they recall some of these templates from previous months.